Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Sean.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We just went live. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to EdTech Mixed Plate. This is episode 33, and we're here to talk about all things Hawaii Google Summit from last week. Thanks for joining us tonight. Before we get to all the other stuff, let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Mike Fricano. I'm a tech integration specialist and authorized Google education trainer, and I teach at Iolani School. How about we start from my left? So Megan, you wanna go next?
Hi, I'm Megan Cummings, tech coordinator at Hawaii Elementary School.
And Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Colte. I'm a librarian at Hawaii.
Rachel.
Sorry, I'm Rachel Armstrong. I'm a tech coordinator also at Hawaii. Hi.
And Sean.
Hey, everybody. My name is Sean Connors. I am a design instructor at LaserDan Academy and a technology coach-ish for those people who are always looking to learn in my community.
And who also just had a brand new addition to his family, right?
I did. In fact, she's a month and a half now. She had her big debut today. We went and met all the family. She might make her debut, I don't know, on this show as well, depending on if she wakes up. And you might see the rest of my family walking around this evening. So
there's someone right now.
Yeah, that'd be my beautiful wife. So.
Awesome, Sean. Congrats. And Shane.
Hi, I'm Shane Asselstein, the Curriculum and Technology Coordinator at Mominani Elementary.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Really appreciate it. Before we get to the sharing, I just want to go over a few logistical things. So first of all, check out our website, bit.ly/edtechmixedplate. We have all of our past episodes archived along with the show notes, a form that we ask our audience to fill out if you want to join the mailing list or ask us a question. So check that out, bit.ly/edtechmixedplate. And tonight's show notes are located here at bit.ly/mixedplate33. So feel free to check that out. We've already got a bunch of things already added there, but as we just have our discussion today, we'll continue to add. And the document is open for commenting and suggesting. So if you want to add any of your own resources, feel free to add a comment or a suggestion to the document, and we'd be very happy to add it. I'll leave that up for a little while for all you viewers out there to check it out. And if you're watching this live, you are more than welcome to participate via the Q&A app. I see Oscar Hennig is already in the Q&A. He says, "Hi Megan, I'm using my husband's Gmail. I was not allowed to use my school account, but she got it anyways. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us, Oscar." Oh no, Oscar's wife. Right? Is that what it is? Mrs. Hennig?
Looks like Carla.
Carla.
Hi, Carla.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Carla. Really appreciate it. Is that from your course? Is she from your guys' course? Or is she just a viewer? Oh, okay. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us anyways. So yeah, if you're watching live out there, join us in the Q&A. You can access it by clicking on the waffle icon in the top right corner. And you can ask us a question anytime throughout tonight's episode, or just participate in the discussion by adding your comments to the Q&A. We'll be more than happy to respond to those, and we appreciate you joining the conversation. Q&A. All right, so tonight we're dedicating this episode to the Hawaii Google Summit, which occurred last week on Friday and Saturday, March 20th and 21st, the third annual Hawaii Google Summit by EdTechTeam, the biggest ever. I think there was 700 plus people in attendance at Iolani School, which is pretty massive. Lots of people. Super exciting to see so many people participating and getting the Google on. And so we're here to talk about our what we learned, what we liked most about the summit, and just to share our overall review and opinions of what occurred. Oh yes, I see Shane. Yes, there were 700 plus people and 200 on the wait list. So it was a massive event. It could have been bigger, and it'll definitely be bigger next year. Guarantee that.
Hey, so Mike, can Iolani hold more? Like, do you know what the capacity is?
No, I don't think it'll be at Iolani next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that was I think that kind of maxed out our capacity with this event, and if it's going to be even bigger than that next year, they'll probably have to move it to a much bigger location. I'm thinking Blaisdell or the convention center. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But I'm almost pretty sure it's not going to be at Iolani next year, unfortunately. It's getting too big for the school.
Oh no, but what about the connection? Oh, shoot.
I know. I mean, for 700 plus people, our connection was pretty
Very good. Yeah, it was good.
It was a pretty. I mean, we have a pretty solid connection at Iolani in general, but it's pretty cool to see it be able to withstand the 700 plus people with multiple devices. So you can imagine. Think of it. I think the devices were up in the 800 to 900s throughout the event. So it's pretty amazing. Some of the best internet connections I've ever experienced.
Right.
I think the first year that I went to the Google Apps for Education Summit, when it was held at, I think, Remington, which was right on Alamona. Was it Remington or Heald? I think it was Heald. I don't know. It was right off of Alamona Boulevard.
Yeah, yeah. We had to walk across the street.
Right, you had to walk across the street. There would come some things there. It was really a neat workshop, but the internet was one really interesting thing, the way they were trying to beam it into the classrooms from outside. And that would be my daughter, and she's going to walk away now.
No, I am not going away.
Okay.
That's okay. You're more than welcome to join us. So cute. Okay, so let's get to our sharing. So we're at this link with our show notes, bit.ly/mixedplate33. Anybody want to go first? Anybody dying to share something specific? No? Okay, how about I'll get us started, and then we'll go down the line then. So let's see. The first thing I wanted to share. Well, maybe I'll leave the Iron Chef to Megan, since it was.
No,
that's
you
her.
you can share it, Mike. It's not
Well,
a
how
problem.
about you share the overall, and then I'll talk about the presentations video when we get around to it.
You want me to share? You want me to share the overall?
Maybe just talk about like what we did and what the Iron Chef challenge is.
Actually, we should have Sean.
Oh yeah, Sean he participated. That should be Sean's his first thing on his priority list to share today.
I won. Well, I shouldn't say I won. Technically, I was part of a group of people. I love you, but thank you.
How did you win?
Okay, maybe we need to come back to this when somebody's asleep this evening.
Oh my.
We'll come back to Iron Chef. We'll save that for later.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. I guess one thing I wanted to share I thought was pretty interesting in James Sanders' keynote at the end of the summit. He briefly mentioned a new website that I think he's helping to develop called breakoutedu.com. Did the rest of you have a chance to check that out?
No.
He didn't give too many details, but it's a live website. It's not fully available yet. Let me share my screen here.
It was like his sneak peek trailer at it.
Yeah, it was like a sneak thing. It's just saying stay tuned for it. It looks like a pretty cool concept here. So, breakoutedu.com. Apparently, it's the ultimate gaming experience. And you go to the How It Works page. It describes it as this ultra engaging learning. It's an ultra engaging learning game for people of all ages. And it teaches teamwork, problem solving, critical thinking, and troubleshooting by presenting challenges that ignite your natural drive to problem solve. And I guess one way you could use it is to teach core academic subjects like math, science, history, and language arts with standards embedded. And this is kind of the breakdown step-by-step process. So I guess you would have to purchase a kit. So if this isn't a free thing, you got to purchase it. But you follow the breakout challenge, have a facilitator set up the room, and within the room you hide, I guess what are called keys and boxes and mystery items throughout the room. And then the players are introduced to the story, they get the rules, and they have to answer the questions. And they have a certain amount of time to solve a series of challenges and riddles and mysteries in order to break out of that room using these hidden keys and boxes and mystery items. And it's designed so that players are immersed in the experience and are racing against the clock to break out. And in the end, the facilitator reviews how the team did, reveals what they missed, what they were unable to solve, and then they take pictures to share their failures and their successes with their friends. Pretty interesting concept. So I guess if you purchase a kit, you receive a collection of locks, hidden contraptions, timers, keys, and other diversion hardware that can be used to play countless challenges available from the website. It's a pretty interesting concept. Now, I don't know if it's, I mean, it says you can play in a classroom, you can use with staff trainings, at dinner parties, and at home. So it doesn't seem like it's necessarily just for the education, but maybe it could be used for a lot of different types of occasions. So I thought that was a pretty interesting concept, something to look forward to in the near future.
Looks like they might be looking for testers too. It said when I looked at the pre-order, it says apply to be a tester, so maybe you don't have to pay for it if you're a tester, or...
Yeah, if you go to the pre-order, yeah, you can apply to be a beta tester. They're looking for teachers and trainers to join their beta testers. So if that's something you might be interested in, you may want to jump in as a beta tester. And overall, I found his keynote pretty interesting. He talked a lot about a couple things that stood out were some quotes I pulled where he said, big problems and questions require big risks. He talked a lot about different projects that he's participated in with the students. I didn't really know that he was so involved with YouTube and the Future Ready Schools initiative and all that. He's fairly deeply involved in those projects. So I thought that was interesting. As well as EdTechTeam.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he was one of the main people that had come up with that Future Ready.
Hey, it seemed like one of the creators of that initiative, kind of, which they worked on the side, and then the White House picked up on it and wanted to partner up with them on it. And now it's becoming really big nationwide initiative. So.
Actually, I thought one of the things that jumped out to me was he was actually the guy who created that website. Now I can't remember off the top of my head, but the digital badge website that I know a bunch of teachers around the country use, and that was just one of the ideas that he had off the top of his head, you know. And I know he sold it now, but I think it's really interesting that this was one of, I guess, his failed ideas that eventually ended up catching on. I wish I had lots of failed ideas that I could sell for big money.
Right. Me too.
Or at least to have an impact on students around the world, you know. Either way.
Classbadges.com?
Yes, classbadges.com, which I actually am going to start using with my classes soon. And I was sitting there going, wow, this guy's, he's done a lot of different things. He's got his hands in a bunch of different experiences.
You know what I liked about his keynote? He also shared. Did I get cut off?
Nope, you're still here.
Okay. I don't know what happened here. Okay, so what he shared all these great things that he was doing with his students, but he also made note that the devices were getting damaged, and he had to go back to the basics. And sometimes, we tend to forget about those things. We want to get the program, and we want to get the devices right into the students' hands, and we forget to do those simple basic steps, like how do we carry our computer from one place to the next? How are we going to organize ourselves so that students will be more accountable and be more responsible with devices? And I thought, that's it, I'm going back to school. And I did. I went back to school, and I did that with a grade level.
I just want to jump in on Megan's comment there. I just had an experience 2 weeks ago before Google, and then when he said that, I think I just laughed out loud because I had 2 days in a row. Cause we just bought 60 brand new computers for 6th grade. Okay, 60 brand new computers. The 6th grade classroom teachers decided to change the orientation of their desks, where the student desks weren't back to back anymore, but you could actually access the desk from both sides. Yeah, 2 days in a row, an $800 laptop smashed, falling on the floor as people just walked past it. And I don't mean like, oh, a key fell off or it got a little damage. No, the entire screen just bleeding with black and white.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I'm going to go back to basics of walking around the classroom with, and the same thing. I'm so excited to get our class and our groups to one-to-one laptops that, yeah, sometimes you forget, maybe they haven't really been taught how to walk around. I loved his, don't walk around with the laptop lid opened.
Right.
Because how many times do I see kids doing that? Come into my lab and show, and the teachers too. Come in and show you, look what's going on in my lab. No, close it when you're walking down the stairs and up and down the hallways. Then come in, open it, and show me what's going on.
I think sometimes we tend to assume they know, and we assume that it's just common sense when it really isn't for a lot of people and a lot of students, and they are skills that need to be taught explicitly. And yeah, some of the examples that James shared through his students making their own videos on how to teach the rest of their class how to do were pretty creative, and some great ideas on how to teach those skills to students. Yeah. Yeah, but James's the theme that he seemed to have throughout his entire keynote was he just shared a lot of his projects and failures along the way, and gets back to that what I quoted him saying earlier about big problems and questions require big risks, and he took a lot of big risks, and not all of them came out on top. Some of them did, but now he seems to be in a pretty strong position with. I mean, he's a keynoter. He's working on the Future Ready Schools initiative. So all great ideas. It just depends on how you approach them.
Since we're talking about James, not to stay on him too long, but I went to actually 2 of his sessions with as well, and I know that you guys were at some of those. I know Sean and Mike were there trying to survive the apocalypse of zombies, and I just thought that was my second one actually of the weekend seeing him. But that one I just thought was a great way of illustrating and showing how you don't need to teach all of these things. You don't need to teach Google Drive and Google Docs and Google all as a separate isolated silo. And having him pull all those tools together to complete a single project was great. I mean, we used Maps, we used Docs, we used YouTube, and did I miss any there that we used? I mean, we had the
if this and that.
Drawing.
Yeah.
Drawing.
I mean, it was just amazing, And then of course sharing that
presentation.
out was great, to everybody. Unfortunately.
And you guys finished it?
No, I left it to the 2 students.
I
brought
didn't
some-
finish it. No.
Me and the other teacher decided we're going to go on it on our own.
Do you have the link to that site in the show notes?
I did. I put it in there. Yeah. And his other session, just to finish off, his other session I went to was the No More Worksheets, and that stood out to me on the list of things to go and watch. There's so many great sessions, but that one stood out to me because, I mean, isn't that what we're really trying to do? Is get rid of the worksheet type teacher, and why are we spending so much time standing in front of the photocopier and all this kind of stuff? And And he had some great tools that he was working with in there, and it was pretty awesome. So that was another really good session he did.
Yeah, the zombie apocalypse one it kind of reminded me of our Iron Chef. Right? It was challenge based team, and you can do it on your own or form teams. And it was a really cool idea. And if you go to our show notes and check out the link there, you can download the presentation that introduces the project and all the information and rules and guidelines that you need. And I think at the beginning of the presentation, he said, it's there. Feel free to steal it, use it, borrow it.
Did either of you grab the I didn't actually copy down the link to the template.
Put it in there. You put a link to the Summit document, and within the Summit document is a link.
I thought that's the one that didn't work, though. He put up one afterwards that we were supposed to use.
No, it does. Yeah.
Okay.
www.classroominthefuture.com/zombies. But I put a link to this main website in our show notes. If you guys want to check it out, it's called an escape plan template. Here, I'll screen share it. You guys can see. It was just a really cool idea on basically Google Apps smashing, right? Using a variety of Google Apps to accomplish a task. And so if you can grab the template, make a copy for yourself. Oh, is this the right template?
Yeah. See, I think this was the presentation.
You know what? I think I have the template in my drive.
He put a bit.ly link up later that had the actual template on it. That's why I was wondering if we had that.
Yeah, I don't think I have the bit.ly, but let me see.
You can check out my Twitter for a really intense picture of 2 of the 3 people in here severely trying to make sure they survive using Google Apps. I think Linda was in with your group too, and they were all really focused on making sure they survived.
She was, and I think we got to the point where our group got to like 7 people, and we're all trying to each take a little bit of a responsibility. I think we were having too much fun with this activity, and we weren't actually as serious as we needed to be. And that sometimes is a problem when you've got a fun activity in the classroom. I think it gets kids off topic sometimes. I think I spent more time watching happy YouTube videos than I should have been working on surviving.
I mean, you could definitely take the concept of this and maybe make it more appropriate for students and do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
With maybe not escape the zombie apocalypse, but maybe like survive on an island. Using all these different tools. How would you create a plan to survive on an island, or something like that? Is a pretty cool idea. I just want to give a quick shout out to Chris Betcher, who's watching right now, and he's commenting that James is. He said that's a great session that James does. Yeah, it's there's a lot of fun. I mean, I think similar to our Iron Chef, which we'll talk about soon. It's a great way to to step away from the being talked at and just sitting and listening to applying what you know and applying what you've learned.
Right. Yeah. I put the link to the template. I think that's the one under. Can you take a look at it?
Yeah. Let me screen share so everybody can see.
Oh, you do that? One of the things because I had actual kids there working on it with me, so it was kind of cool to see how they reacted to this, and it was interesting how they were looking at Pro City and looking at specific buildings within Pro City that they know of and trying to figure out which one would be the best one to hold up in and why and all that kind of stuff. So it was interesting seeing their mindset versus me. I would have found some. It was just great watching them do it. It was pretty fun.
Here's the link. It's in Shane's section here for all you guys watching out there. And if you click that link, you make it. Yeah. This looks like it's the right one.
That's the one, right?
Yeah, it's got the instructions on it. Yeah, this is the one we did.
Here, yeah. So this is the template we used, and here's the mission. Here we go. So these are some of the things we had to do. I used a Google spreadsheet and list items that you would want to carry, and then you had to use formulas to calculate the total weights of all the items.
I couldn't move on. I was stuck on making my maps and all my layers of survival. Like, where would I?
Yeah,
It
using
was
my maps to
Costco. Straight up Costco.
I had all the hardwares and
Hit up Costco or Sam's.
I would go Sam's Club simply because Sam's Clubs are all elevated, so if you could control the stairways, then you're going to be safer than all the Costcos. I mean, I love Costco hot dogs, don't get me wrong, but they're all ground levels. They're a lot harder to defend.
And the one in Hawaii is right across from Home Depot. So.
True, true. I was looking at the Home Depots and oh, right.
Which there is the Home Depot, right behind the Costco in Evile, but then there's also the Home Depot right across the street from the Sam's Club, in Pearl City. So take your pick.
Very well thought. But yeah, that was a really fun session. That was a lot of fun. Speaking of problem or challenge-based sessions, how about we talk about Iron Chef?
Okay.
You want to give us a brief description of what that was, Megan, and then we can talk about the presentations, and then maybe Sean, as a participant, can share his experience.
Sure. So the Iron Chef was a challenge-based workshop. We did it in 2 days this time around, and I thought that worked out really well. The first day didn't seem as rushed, and we didn't have to create a specific task for them. So what they did was they created, can you go ahead and click on the project's workshop information? Workshop info,
There?
description, or the challenge and ingredients, sorry.
Oh, the challenge.
Yeah, yeah. So the challenge was to develop a project with integrated content area and using standards for ISTE, for student standards for ISTE. And if we can go back to you, Mike, here. Sorry. So the ingredients were learners' abilities, categories were learners' abilities, learner levels, Google apps, choices. And we kind of did it around the theme just like ISTE, where we would put the ingredients out and they would come up and they would go and grab it. So that was kind of neat. That was a little different twist to the Iron Chef that we did here in Hawaii. And basically they were, whatever they chose in each category, they had to put into their develop a project with. And I just have to say that in a short amount of time, they came up with amazing projects that can actually be used in the classroom. So I'm really excited that we get to share that and that we have the resources here for others to take a look at. Mike, you want to say anything?
Yeah, sure. So the link to this website that we used for the session is included in the show notes, so feel free to check that out. All of the team's projects are up on the site for anyone to view. It's under the GAF 2015 Teams tab and Final Projects. And one team created a YouTube video. That was Sean and Megan's team. And then the rest of the teams created Google Slide presentations. And you can click on those to check them out. Some really great project ideas came out of that, which is really exciting to see. And we did a live hangout on air during the presentation, during the second session for the presentation. So that's up on YouTube for anyone to watch if you want to watch those presentations and you want to see the judges' deliberation and scoring. That's all there for people to watch. So it's up there online for the world to view. And based on the judges' scores as well as the public voting, the winner was Team Equinox, which was Sean and Megan's team. So, Sean, you want to talk a little bit about your experience?
Sure. First off, I want to say thanks to Mike and Megan for actually putting this together. It was an amazing opportunity to practice some of the skills that we had been, I guess, learning about over the past day and a half of, the Google Apps for Education Summit experience. So it was neat to take some of those ideas and actually try them out, put them into practice. It was also neat to be able to work with a partner, find out what their strengths were, what strategies and ideas they had. I think, a lot of times as an individual educator, I'm making a lot of content for my own students, or I'm making stuff to present at a workshop. But actually having somebody sit there with me on a team was great, because we had an opportunity to throw ideas out together. And I think that made for a much stronger presentation. And I think going forward, when I have presentations to make for students or for other, workshops, whether it be schools of the future or what have you in the future, I'd like to work with more of the educators who have different perspectives, different ideas, different tools, because it's just going to make for a better experience for both me as well as anybody who's participating in that workshop. I will have everyone note out there that my team actually came in last when it came to points. So don't watch our video. Go watch the other presentations, because they put in a lot of amazing work. I cannot believe the level of quality and depth and the amazing tools and how they use those tools and techniques in such a short amount of time. I do feel very privileged and honored to have been able to win, thanks to I guess the second part of the voting, which was the social media aspect, which allowed people out there to vote for one of the 4 teams. Unfortunately for Megan and I guess people like us, they love us, or something, or maybe I just wouldn't let people not vote. So thank you to all those of you out there who voted, whether you voted for our team or not. I would love to see this particular type of session run again. I think it's great because it really forces people to really try and use tools that they've maybe never used before. Out of the 4 different things that we had, I felt comfortable with some of the tools, but not some of the different groups. So it was pushing me into a different area and forcing me to improve upon my skill usage. So congratulations again to the planning team. You guys put together a great event. And I can't wait to see the amazing things that happen next year, considering whoever decides to participate is probably going to have an opportunity to look back at what they did the year before, and the bar is set. So I think what I'd really like to see, though, is I'd like to see almost maybe we open this up and make it like an outside an event thing. So here's the challenge, but then everybody comes to the event with their stuff ready to go. Or maybe we challenge schools, right? I mean, I know a couple schools out there who would be happy to put together a presentation. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you could do this. I just like the challenge aspect of coming together and a little bit of a competition. That was fun.
Shane's giving us hashtag team. Hashtag team. We just need to give a very appreciative shout out to our guest judges. We had Robert Allen Moody, who leads the Google Educator Group out of Kansas. He flew all the way out to Hawaii for the Hawaii Google Summit and a little vacation. And he was gracious enough to help judge. We also had Jenny Magiera, who's the morning keynote on Saturday. Great educator, great speaker. Her keynote was amazing, and but she was gracious enough to judge. And we also had oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Why am I forgetting all of a sudden?
I forgot his name too, but if you give me 2 seconds, I'll figure it out. I went to 2 of his sessions. He did the session on the 20% time, which was absolutely amazing.
I just had a brain fart.
Okay, edit this part out. Brookhouse.
Yeah, Kevin Brookhouse.
Yeah, Kevin Brookhouse. I remember Brookhauser, but I couldn't remember his first name. Yeah, Kevin Brookhauser. Sorry, Kevin. You're out there. Yeah, but Kevin Brookhauser, he was also a guest judge. And he did a really cool slam on slides, and he incorporated that into his judging, which was a lot of fun. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those three amazing people. Thanks for judging, and we had a blast having them join us. Yeah, so that was Iron Chef. So hopefully you'll see Iron Chef again at future conferences. It was a lot of fun. Okay, anybody else want to share anything? Yeah, lots of stuff on the show notes. Anyone?
I'm pretty much sure all of us. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, here's what I realized when we come back from one of these hangouts. We all come back with so much great stuff that this show goes way past an hour. It's not a bad thing. It's just, everybody watching at home is kind of like, wow, it's, let me dive into the resources already. Stop talking. I want to play. So I'm going to make mine really, really quick. I had an opportunity to go to a couple of the different sessions that were put on by Jenny Magiera, who was the second day keynote speaker. She is incredibly charismatic. She's a Google Apps for Education trainer. She's probably a Google Apps for Education teacher too, but it's really kind of interesting. Whenever you go and watch the training videos that you have to watch before you take the training exams, a lot of them are by Jenny. So she knows her stuff. But she's super sweet, super charismatic, and I think she's a local girl at heart. She really kind of fits in with our people here. But I went to two of her sessions, which were kind of selfish of me in a way. One of them, and I put all the links in the show notes, one of them was about getting time back using Google Apps for Education, specifically looking at calendar and mail. And I'm not going to go into detail. All of the show notes are linked, or the notes that she gave us are linked there. But I am going to say one thing about mail that I didn't understand that I now know a lot better. And I know a lot of you guys know this because you're either Google Apps for certified trainers or teachers. But I didn't realize it. But mail, in Gmail, you don't make folders. You make these things called lists. Or labels. See, I'm learning. Labels. They look like folders, but they're not really folders. And the neat thing about it is the fact that when you make a label, an email can be labeled a couple of different ways and show up in different label locations, which is kind of a neat thing. But it's a great way to help you get things out of your inbox. You can open up space and get down to that zero email state, but still have those emails. Another thing that I now understand a lot better is there's a difference between archive and delete. You'd think that I would know these things, but maybe people out there watching don't know the simple aspects of Gmail. But when you archive something, it actually stays in your mail account. It just doesn't stay in your inbox anymore, which is great because you can find it and search for it anyways in the search bar. It's just no longer in your inbox. Deleting it actually sticks it in a delete folder, which after about 30 days will disappear forever. So if you really don't need it, delete it. But if you think you might use it, but you're just not sure what you're going to do or where to put it, go ahead and stick it in the archive. That's going to be fine. But definitely do some labels. And one other thing that she helped us learn how to do was filters. Filters are really neat. They're actually kind of like duplicating you by giving certain commands to certain mail when they come in to do certain things, like either automatically be archived or get labeled in a certain way. And I've started to set up some filters that are really saving me a lot of time. There are those emails that you always get from those sites that you want to keep, but you don't know what to do about. You don't have the time to read them now, but you don't want to lose them. Filter those bad boys. The other thing that one of the other sessions that I went to that was totally awesome was a session about using Google Draw. And now I'm a big fan of Google Draw. I had my students actually use Google Draw as part of our unit where they make badges. So that's where this whole badge conversation comes back. And the reason why we use Google Draw is the sixth graders, they're not really good at using the super crazy heavy tools yet, like Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. Although some of them can, a majority of them, it's too much too early. So Google Draw is great because it's got a lot of really powerful tools. It's a really clean interface. It automatically is a Google, program, so it threads into their, folders for me. But it exports things as either PNGs, JPEGs, or, especially for me, SVG files, which are simple vector graphics, which means those are the ones that you can blow up to massive sizes and still retain that wonderful, clean, fresh aspect. But she showed us some things in Google Drive that were awesome. Her entire presentation is in there. But the one thing that I learned that I didn't know before is called Google Fonts. Oh my God. I knew that Google had some amazing fonts, but I didn't know there was one place that you could go to get every single font that Google's ever created. It's simple. You just go to google.com/fonts. Oh my God, you're going to spend hours going in there. I swear. Don't do it now because it's too late at night. You'll be up till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Now no one's going to listen. They're going to go.
I'm very sorry. Don't do that. And this is what she said to us. She said, oh, now that I've shown you this, you're not going to pay any attention to anything else in the rest of our presentation.
Right.
Do us a favor. Do yourself a favor. Don't go play with it now. Set aside some time. You can really play with it because you're going to want to get to bed on time tonight. But what's great about it is the fact that you can see how the fonts look already. You can type in the sentence that you want to put in your presentation or whatever, so you can already see how that font reacts to it. And you can actually go through the process of adding those fonts directly into your Google Font Cache, so that anytime you open up Google Docs or Google Draw or Google Slides or any of those types of things, that font will be ready for you. So I know there's a lot of people already know about it. It's been out there for quite a while, but I didn't know about it, and so I had to share it because I just found it so awesome. So go play with it on your own time, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's like crack. Well, I've never had crack. It's like chocolate chip cookies. You just can't eat one. You're gonna find yourself looking at all kinds of fonts.
One font.
Yeah, have fun with them.
I think
Don't blame me if you end up in trouble with your family.
I think in one of Casey Bell's recent blog posts, she shared a tip about that Google font website where I guess you can pick multiple fonts and have them all displayed, so you can compare one font to another and see how they both kind of, if they fit together.
And actually, there's even a section in there where you can select a font, and then it'll automatically find fonts for you that work well with it. So one of the biggest things that that they say when you're making presentations is stick to no more than 3 different fonts, but make sure that they work together and use them for different things, some for titles, some for text. So that feature is really neat because if there's a particular type of font you really like, you can go ahead and quickly find some complementary fonts that'll work really well with it. So as I said, play with it.
Yeah, I do. I want to jump off of that. So I'll go ahead and share real quick my screen.
Can I give her a quick shout out, Megan?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to respond to those in the Q&A. We got Peter, who's actually watching from South Africa. It's 7:40 in the morning on Monday for him, but he's watching. He mentioned that they're actually planning their own Google Summit in May, so that should be pretty exciting. Thanks for watching live with us, Peter. We appreciate you chiming in, and he appreciates the shared document that we have for our resource. Yeah. So, Peter, if you have any resources of your own, feel free to add them via comment or use the suggestion tool. We love to have our audience participate in our resource gathering during our show. And Chris Betcher, he mentioned that they just finished a Google Summit in Canberra, in the capital of, I hope I said that correctly, but the capital of Australia. And yeah, it seems like, these EdTech Team Summits are all over the world now. It's pretty amazing how far-reaching it's getting. It's fun to see all these things happening all around the world.
And actually, Mike, can I just interrupt really quick? Sorry, Megan. Sean was saying too, there's so many exciting things happening at the summit, and one thing I put in the show notes is a link to the Hawaii Gave Summit schedule. So if you are like me and you missed the summit, you can still check out some of the presentations, which is definitely not the same thing as being there. But there's so much there by clicking on that schedule. And actually, I've looked at summits that are happening around the world to get ideas for other presentations we might do, or just how we can step up our Google game at our school. So, like Chris is saying, there are summits everywhere, and just do a quick Google search for them to get ideas.
Yeah. And looks like Chris is he's going to be in Hawaii in May. He's getting married on Maui. Congratulations, Chris. We do know a great librarian on Maui. Her name is Linda Lindsay. I'll send you a message on Google Plus, Chris, and I'll connect you with Linda. She's a librarian for Seabury Hall, and they just had a TEDx Youth event there this weekend. But maybe she'd be willing to host you at Seabury. Any chance you'll be making your way over to Oahu? That's some great schools on Oahu that you can visit as well. But congrats on that. So it's pretty exciting. And he just had a quick question for you, Sean. He said he's asking, so do the fonts that you end up choosing on the font site, do they end up are they automatically added to on the Google Docs side?
Okay, yeah, that's an awesome question, Chris. You'll notice when you go to Google Fonts, there's the Add to Collection button on the right-hand side. And when you click on that, it'll add it to your collection. Then when you go into Google Docs, or if you go into Google Sheets or one of those, and you go to switch and choose from your fonts, if it's not automatically in the drop-down, if you choose more fonts, it'll pull up a screen that's got additional fonts, and you can honestly find 1,001 fonts that way, but it should be right up there in your collection. One thing I did find is I tried to find one quickly that I had seen before that I couldn't find, but I knew it was really, really slanty and kind of thick one, so you can use the filter tools in there to find things that really work for you. Yeah, so just, as I said, have fun with it, but Chris, don't have fun with it now, because there are lots of other people who have great stuff they want to share with you.
I think Megan was going to show off some of the things you can do.
Well, yeah, here it is. Here's the google.com fonts, and you can go ahead and check the thickness, the slant, the width here. And once you decide which one you want, I mean, you can even put in a sentence or two. And see what it would look like before you go ahead and add it to your collection. So that's kind of neat. But what I did want to talk about is that what Jenny brought up during her session, and I thought this was really neat because I use Google Drawing with students to do creative work, kind of like we did like a stop motion for last year's video competition. But what she brought up during her session, and I didn't think about this, is that when you look back at the revision history here, now this was last year's, obviously it was last year's here, but if you went back and you had the students say they were drawing a picture, and you went back to the revision history here, and they could go ahead and tell you exactly what they did and why they did it and how they made the changes along the way. And I thought, or why they made those changes, or why they made, why they deleted certain things. So I thought that that was really neat. Instead of, what I used to do is have the students think about the end product and draw to the end product. But now they don't need to go back, and we would delete from that. We would make copies and make deletes from that. But with the revision history, I didn't think about going back that way. Just think about how they could go ahead and tell a story using the revision history. I thought that was really powerful.
And I like to do that. You could even prompt them ahead of time and tell them they are going to do this. So you could actually prompt them and say, look, I want you to show me 10 of the design choices that you made along the way. So they can look back to their own history and kind of find the ones they like, write those times down so that when they go ahead and do the presentation with you, they can click through, cycle through. They could even do a screencast of that. And so you could really, have them record that and show their thought process, stick it in their blog. I think I'm so glad you brought that up because it was a real powerful tool that I had forgotten that she mentioned.
Right.
I intend to totally use it with my students next time when they have to break down their decision-making process.
Mm-hmm.
And I can actually give them a grade for that, and they'll appreciate that as opposed to being on the spot and having to explain and forgetting the decisions or why they made certain decisions.
Right. And she just said that, just think about it, we ask them to do the end product all the time, but this will help them explain their process to get there. So I thought, wow, that's really neat. That, and also she also shared how they're using the timeline. They can create a timeline for your behavior. So what she did was she had the students go ahead at certain times of the day take a picture of what they were doing, and they could share that doc with their parents, and the parents could make feedback, give feedback or comments. I thought she gave so much great ideas on how to use Draw. Excited to try it though.
Cool. It's a different way of using the revision history from what we typically use it for or think about using it for.
Right.
So that's a pretty cool idea. I like that. Neat.
Just one more comment on Sean's fonts thing. One of the biggest knocks for my kindergarten teachers has been that Google Docs, the switch over from Office, from whatever other products they're using, was I only see 7 fonts or 8 fonts. Now I can tell them this, I can say, here, go crazy. You can have 1,000 fonts if you want.
Where's my DJ inkers?
No lie, they have actual CDs of fonts, and when I give them a brand new computer, they spend the first day installing fonts.
Yeah, no more DJ inkers, but there's plenty of other fonts that can very easily replace those. Lots of great choices. Looks like her name's not Oscar. What's her name? Mrs.
Carla.
Carla.
Yeah. Carla was asking about. Looks like she found her way. So hopefully you find some good uses out of that google.com/fonts. It's a pretty cool tool. Hey, we're running on about 5 more minutes now. Anybody else got anything that they want to share?
I think it's only appropriate we share definitely that Linda Lindsay had that session at the end there with 33 to somewhere between apps for Chrome. It was pretty amazing. So yeah. I put links in there for that. You can check them all out.
Her presentation wasn't a presentation. It was the one-tab Chrome extension, which had all of the Chrome extensions that she shared. So I thought that was a pretty clever way of sharing her session with the group.
Have you guys done a Chrome extension show before?
No, I don't think we have.
Okay.
That might not be a bad idea. I'm just saying you could invite, her over. Maybe have her show 1 or 2. But I think everybody out there has their favorites, and I think maybe even creating a resource list. Actually, I have access to a resource list. Maybe not exactly. Hold on, let me think. I had the opportunity to actually go to a session with Jay Atwood, who I would have loved to throw in the show notes. So Jay, if you're out there, you're an awesome educator. I went to one of the pre-summit sessions with Jay, and then I also went to his Sexy Sheets and Dirty Data session, which I would love to talk Google Sheets with anybody any day. But he actually had this awesome tool using the Autocrat extension that was created by Jay Stillman, I think, or Andrew Stillman, who's a god of scripting. But he used the Autocrat script to actually go through the process of having people that he works with from around the world go through the process of filling out a short form. I think it was either for Chrome extensions or for apps or something, but they go through the process of rating, and it puts it in this amazing database. I will bring it to a future show.
Yeah, is it a spreadsheet or is it a knowledge base?
Well, it's a spreadsheet on a Google site that actually has these incredible filter pivot tables built into it. And it uses a particular Google Sheets extension that I can't remember. I think it's Amazing Extensions or Amazing. I forget what it is. Guarantee you, I'll have it ready next time. But I thought it was just absolutely amazing the way that all 4 of these different things work together to make one product that just was awesome. So yeah, that'll keep everybody on, coming back for the next show or whenever that show is going to be. Let me know. I'll bring it.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, but I think overall it was just, it was great to see so many, edu awesome people, edu rock stars. We had Kevin Brookhauser, Jay Atwood, Jenny, everyone from EdTech Team, It was just it was really amazing to see a lot of really cool people out there, a lot of local talent presenting. I mean, and to see 700 plus people with 200 people on the wait list, just itching to get in. It's really exciting to see how Google Apps for Education has taken off here in the state of Hawaii, and how it's really changing the way we teach and how our students learn. So I'm excited for next year's Google Summit. It'll be interesting to see where it's held and to see what happens next year. But before we end, I wanted to share a quick YouTube video. Have you guys seen this? It's called "Don't Be the Lid." Did any of you watch that video? I shared it on Google Plus. I actually got it from Casey Bell on Google Plus. But let me pull it up. We'll end the show. I didn't get this from the Google Summit, but I thought it kind of fit. Hopefully you guys can hear it. It's actually a pretty old video. It comes from like 2012, but definitely applies. All right, let me go back.
Lid.
No, go back.
Training faculty requires a glass.
Can you guys hear that? Are you guys able to hear that, the sound from the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. There's "Don't Be the Lid."
Training faculty requires a glass jar with a lid. Their ideas are placed inside the jar, and then the lid is sealed. When left undisturbed for 3 quarters, the jar is open. The ideas from faculty will not jump out. In fact, the ideas from faculty will never jump higher than the level set by the lid. Their behavior is now set for the rest of their tenure. And as new hires come on board, the new hires automatically follow this example. Don't be the lid.
There, so don't be the lid. Shouldn't hold back the ideas of our students and our faculty. Okay, let them feel free to explore and...
Hey, Jason Ramsden, Chief Technology Officer at Ravenscroft School here.
Sorry, guys. YouTube's autoplay. Cool. All right, so thanks for joining us. We appreciate Chris Betcher chiming in on the Q&A, as well as Peter and Carla. We appreciate the live audience. And again, if you have any of your own resources or questions or comments, feel free to add them to our show notes. We love, I mean, we have a lot already in there, but it's definitely not an exhaustive resource, so feel free to add your own. And you can do that by going to this link here, bit.ly/mixedplate33 for tonight's show notes. And just a quick reminder, don't forget to check out our website. We'll have tonight's episode archived along with the show notes, and all of our past episodes are archived as well. And there's a form there on the main page that you can fill out if you want to join our mailing list or ask us a question for a future episode. bit.ly/EdTech Mixed Plate. And any last words from the group? Peace.
Sign up early next year.
Yeah, sign up early next year. That's good. That's really good advice.
Or better yet, step it up and come and present. How's that?
What's that?
Better yet, step up and come and present. How's that?
Yes. You present, you get in free. I tell so many people that. Present one session and you get in free.
Anybody know how you get access to the presentation link? Is it on the website? Do they send out an email? Because I would have loved to present, but I didn't know.
Good question. They don't make it public. I mean, they send it out to previous presenters, and then I guess it's up to them to share it out.
We just forward it to Sean.
We'll forward it to Sean.
That's a good question. They should make that more readily available, more easily accessible.
Like Google Fonts. I mean,
we'll bring that to EdTechTeam's attention. All right, but that'll do for tonight. We appreciate everybody joining us, and we appreciate all of you watching after the fact. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode of EdTech Mixed Plate. Good night.